There are many options when it comes to restoring a barn find type of vehicle. This one here happens to have an excellent foundation. Yeah, you can pump a ton of money into a restoration, do a frame up type restoration, and by the time you're finished, you will have tens of thousands invested. Another way is the option this gentleman here took. Take it to a mechanic, get it mechanically sound, replace the bushings, belts, hoses, tune it up, make sure all of the brake lines, slave cylinders, master cylinders, rotors, and calipers are refurbished or replaced, and then polish the finish, no matter what shape it's in, and use it. Make it your daily driver. Enjoy it. Look at this interior. Gorgeous. The bolsters aren't worn. The dash isn't cracked, steering wheel isn't cracked, plastics are all in excellent shape, the trim isn't cracked. This is an excellent foundation for that type of restoration, and that's what we're going to be doing here today at Apex Detail. And that happens to be exactly what we did with our Barn Find series for the channel here, the 1974 Corvette Stingray we pulled out of a barn with all four wheels locked up. We turned it around mechanically and polished out that dead, faded, oxidized red paint to vibrant, brilliant, glossy, reflective, deep red, and you can absolutely do that to this vehicle here. And I picked this color was perfect because anybody can bring out reds, blacks, dark blue. It's these colors here, white, champagne, tan, silvers, grays. They need a little bit more effort, a little bit more attention to get the color to pop, to stand out and grab your attention when you're walking by. And that's what we're going to be doing here, starting today with this first video. Welcome back to the channel, good friends. This is Brian from Apex Detail. Let's get started. Okay, when it comes to any classic or antique car, and by the way, this is an 84 Mercedes turbo diesel, never want to test the seals on the doors, or if it's a convertible top on the top. Never test them. You can ruin an interior very quickly. So we always do a rinseless or a steam wash for these type of vehicles. No excess running or free-flowing water. So we'll start with that. Get any grit or dirt. The first thing we blew off was the light dust from being stored away for so long. This happens to be the very first detail and polish this vehicle is going to get. Under all this dust and dirt, even the trim and the chrome mirrors are in impeccable shape. Even the rims are in incredible shape, no curb rash, no paint peeling off. All we have to do is clean off a little bit of light brake dust. Under that light brake dust, an excellent finish. All four wheels in great shape. Okay, the next thing we want to do is protect. The pinstriping is perfect. There is no wear-throughs or cracks anywhere. We want to protect that and all of the plastic and rubber trim that we come across. .3M Precision is my favorite when it comes to protecting those types of surfaces. You don't have to tape up the whole car like you're spraying in a paint booth. Just protect some of the areas where the pad or backing plate can bump up against the trim and damage it. We have everything protected that I see. We could run into trouble with some of the brittle older parts, and we can move on. By the way, the paint's the same all the way around the car. Some parts just oxidize more than others. If you use the shop light, you can see there's a bit of a reflection there, but it's cloudy, hazy. not quite heavy oxidation as we found on some of the other vehicles. So you could actually, there's many ways you can attack this type of oxidation, the layer of oxidation. This is one way you can go around and quickly get the surface of the car, the finish, looking good enough just to drive around and make it presentable. And that's a quick one step. All I have is a medium cut pad and 3D1. If you had a finish that was heavily oxidized, I would really highly recommend wet sanding. I'll try to put a link up above for some videos that show exactly how to do that. It really speeds up the process of removing that dead paint without spiking temperatures, and it'll save your pads, because one thing you're going to be doing here is cleaning your pads between absolutely every pass. The dead paint molecules plus single stage, which transfers as I've showed you in many videos, all of that adds up to foam pads or microfiber pads or even wool pads that clog up quickly. One quick trip down and back, you can already see the transfer building up on the foam. That needs to be cleaned between every pass, or it quickly renders the pad non-effective. Let me wipe off the residue and bring you in closer. You'll see the huge difference we made just with one pass. The reflection is much better, but not crisp, the way I would like it. You could still see some of the imperfections on the paint underneath that layer of oxidation. So let's find a process that removes the oxidation and also tackles the imperfections as well. So we're going to grab 3D AAT, or Adaptive Abrasive Technology 501, team it up with the Koch Chemie cutting pad, and a 15mm throw polisher. By the way, just something to pass along. Take what you want out of the information, but you don't see me throwing the polisher, stabbing at the paint, trying to cut off the oxidation. This is no effort for me. I'm not wasting energy. I'm relaxed, letting the polisher do the work. Hardly any pressure down on the polisher. You'll notice the polisher isn't screaming on the 7th speed setting. The stress is low. The energy spent is low. I can get around this car and do a ton of work and hardly feel it at the end of the day. These are tips I'm trying to pass along to you to make your day go easier. As you can see, speed between the 3rd and the 4th speed setting. Let me wipe off the residue and you'll see a huge difference. This will become a 2-step process this way, however. When it comes to polishing, guys, there are a lot of methods that are passed along just in theory. When you put them into practice, they just make no sense. What I'm showing you here is a practical way to get through your day if you do this for a living, or if you're just an enthusiast doing this in your driveway or garage. So this is the second step here. We're finishing, and to finish, we really just switched over to the pad and polish combination we used in the first test area. Single stage paint is very hard and stubborn, and what you could use to finish single stage, you'd actually use for cutting stage on a lot of the newer cars these days, especially that are cleared with the water-based clear coat. I believe you can already see the difference in this area compared to the first test area. Much clearer, a little bit deeper. We removed the oxidation layer, the layer of dead paint molecules, and also a lot of the imperfections below it in that one clean sweep, and it's finished down. So you can actually protect it from here and enjoy the vehicle for a long, long time. I'm going to show you yet another option in the next test area. using the 3D ACA 500, that is the Alpha ceramic abrasive, along with a wool pad on a rotary. If you remember a couple videos ago, I asked you which pad do you think runs the coolest while polishing, while machine polishing. That happens to be the wool pad. To answer the question, a ton of airflow whisks between the fibers. Now this here happens to be a hybrid wool pad. There are many types where there's foam at the base and then wool fibers attached to that, but there's still a ton of airflow which keeps temperatures down on the surface and happens to be the second coolest way, so to speak, to remove oxidation, only to wet sanding. And again, good friends, you don't hear the rotary screaming on the 6th speed setting. It's one of the reasons I can use the little M550 here, the mini rotary, all the way around the car with a 5.5-inch backing plate and pad attached to it, and the unit not overheat. Again, relaxed, controlled polishing. And you can see the transfer on the pad again. Clean those pads between every pass. It's incredible turnaround already, nice clarity, but there's room for improvement. It could really get crisp if I follow up and finish with, again, the 3D one and that foam pad. Since I don't know what you're seeing and what's coming through the camera until I sit down and watch the video, let me put some numbers behind what I'm seeing here, and that is an almost 70 unit increase in gloss. Single stage now can be brought out a lot more crisp and clear than clear-coated vehicles. Let me show you an example here, and I'll explain why in the next video of this series. The most important part of this video is coming up right here. That turnaround on this single stage hardly removed any material that was measurable on this paint depth gauge. That's it for this video. Time flies, guys. I really appreciate you stopping by. We'll catch you in the next video of this series. Much more to come.